over on Patreon through a subscription. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Anybody interested in supporting the channel in that way can go to patreon.com and choose a subscription level, and you'll get the daily forecast over there a day early, and other readings that are available only over there depending on the subscription level that you choose. So this is the reading for February of 2020, the Tarotscope for the sign of Scorpio. If you have a sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Scorpio, you may want to watch this video. Or if you have heavily placed planets in the sign of Scorpio, like 3 or more, I would watch this video. It may indicate what kind of a February you might be experiencing. It is a broad spectrum reading, therefore it's spoken in broad terms. You have to figure out where it fits best in your life. If it doesn't make any sense or doesn't seem to fit in what you're working on or heading towards, that's completely fine. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily doing anything wrong or that anything's not working out. It just might mean that you're working on something different than the majority of the Scorpios that need to see this video. It could also be the houses that your planets are in. All of that stuff affects the outcomes of things. So keeping that in mind, don't worry if it doesn't, totally resonate. Basically take what you need and leave the rest. If you do feel like this, I'm speaking to you and it fits in your life and how you feel, that's all great. I'm happy for that. But also know that please use your own highest intelligence and intuition when watching these videos. If you choose to make any decisions in your life in regards to your February after having watched any of my videos, make sure that you always trust your own information first, your own intelligence, your own intuition, and never take anything that I say over that of a professional in their field, like a doctor, a lawyer, or a therapist. Always listen to them first and foremost. So let's see what's going on in Scorpio land. What do you guys want to know for February of 2021? And if you're watching me over on Facebook, please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel and vice versa. If you're watching this live on YouTube, feel free to follow the business page. And the signifier card for Scorpio for the month is coming from the Work Your Light deck by Rebecca Campbell. Let's see what's happening here. Okay. We have dance with life. Do something to change your energy. Okay. Now this is the February reading. I like this for Scorpio. Feels rather joyful. The other 2 cards for the other water signs were all about the call, like answering the call. To me, I don't feel like that's Scorpio's business right now. We'll see. We'll get into the tarot. But to me, when I'm looking at this feels a little bit more joyful, a little bit less sort of serious with those with Cancer and Pisces readings. It felt a little bit like, not ominous, but kind of a little bit more serious. To me here, it feels like Scorpio might get to actually enjoy themselves in February. Have a little bit of joy, a little bit of freedom, a little bit of excitement. I love how these dresses are like rising up here, right? They're really dancing with like sort of an abandon or a freedom that I really love. I also love that the moon seems to be sneaking in here through the doorway. So be aware that you guys might be picking up on more psychic messages or subconscious messages, but I feel like those messages will be like really beneficial for you, really freeing. You guys might feel very empowered. We are entering into, right now we're in Aquarius season, which is great, but we will be entering by mid-February into Pisces season, which would also heighten your guys' psychic awareness. So utilizing that, really finding the joy and the beauty in that. I kind of like that with this. It says do something to change your energy, but I don't feel like this feels like you guys are in a bad place. I mean, unless the tarot cards tell me something different, I feel like this is about just experiencing the joy of whatever it is you're doing and enjoying that for what it is. I don't feel like my Scorpios are in like a bad place that you need to shift your way out. The phrasing on this card to me feels a little misleading because it says do something to change your energy. But I don't think that you need to change. I think you need to just dance with life is more important on this card for you guys, is just really enjoy whatever February has on offer. So let's see what the cards have to say. And not only like what February has on offer, right? Like the outside environment, but also what we have on offer within ourselves. That's this moon peeking out, right? That's this moon influence of like our more deeper psychic senses, right? I think that there's some sort of connection between that and the joy that we see here in this dancing, right? So as we're listening to that more intuitive voice, that deeper Scorpio spidey sense that we have, right? That's guiding us, where that's leading us towards this joy and towards this freedom and towards this excitement, maybe even into new opportunities through new doorways, that sort of a thing. All right, so let's look at the cards really quick and see what's going on. In the center card is where you guys are centered at for, the month. It's not the entire month. You kind of go in and out of this energy throughout the month, but it gives me insight into sort of an overall view of what could happen this month. It also gives me insight into what you could be potentially creating for the future. Oh, I love it. So this is King of Wands. So this is like a take the life by the balls kind of card. At least I feel that with this dance with life going on here. Wands is fire energy. It's desire and action. It's also really associated with the spirit. When I look at this and I see that dance with me card, to me, it feels like my Scorpios throughout the month of February are going to feel like, no pun intended, but on fire. Your pussy's on fire, girl. I mean that in a good way. I hope that I don't offend any Pisces by saying that, or Scorpios by saying that. What I mean by that is it's like, feel your oats, be excited, feel your authority, feel your desire, go after it, make it happen. The King of Wands doesn't wait for anyone, right? He's about taking action. He knows what he wants. He's like, I see it, I make it, I create it, I want it, I have it, it's mine. And so it's that kind of an energy to the King of Wands. There can be a bit of an impulsiveness to him, but I like this impulsive energy because I feel like that joy that we see in the Dance with Life card is like, don't think too much about it. Trust your more subconscious notions. Remember, the Wands is the element of fire, spirit, right? That would also be the subconscious moon here that's kind of creeping through and hitting us with insight as to where we can find more joy in February. I love that the King of Wands is your center, guys. That's a really empowered center. It's one about action. It's one about impulse. It's one about doing what we desire and going after it. Hold on, my dogs want to come in. Hopefully they won't start snoring, but I'm going to let them in. But doing what we desire and knowing that we deserve it too, that's also very much king energy, is like, okay, just bring it to me because it's mine, because I'm the boss. And so I like this. I feel like this puts Scorpio in the driver's seat for February. It's not like we're sitting there going like, oh God. I mean, we'll see what the rest of the cards are, but to me, it feels like Scorpio's in a position of power going into February and throughout February, ideally, or at least you're certainly trying to direct your course, let's say. Now the next card is, here they are, and they just come flooding in. I open the door and the dogs come flooding in. All right, so the next card is the foundation card. This is the card from the past that indicates sort of what was going on in the past that opened the door for everything to be the way that it is in the reading today, right, for the month of February. It can also be the memory of this card that kind of drives things into the future or kind of holds things in place, right? So we need to be aware of this card because everything's built upon this. Okay, so this is the Seven of Wands. So still Wands energy, but when we look at this guy, do you see this cat? He's not having it. He is pissed, okay? This is from the past. This is being challenges from the past. This is about maybe having to fight for our seat at the table, having to struggle with whatever it is that we want, being challenged by the outside environment, having a rough period of it. I feel like this, to me, the Seven of Wands doesn't indicate a specific thing. It's more like a general energy that was going on in the past where we felt like our buttons being pushed, right? We're free of that now. The King of Wands feels like getting beyond that Seven of Wands experience of the past and feeling sort of subdued, in control again, happy, creative, all of that. This Dance with Life is also that breath where we get to kind of exhale and go, thank God that shit's over, right? I don't necessarily know how I feel about this Seven of Wands as the foundation for this reading yet, because I haven't seen the rest of the cards. I kind of don't like it. Something in my gut is saying, whoa, 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 wait a second. That's not the best card to have as a foundation card. It's not the most solid foundation, right? It is a foundation that's set in memories of, I don't want to say struggle, but maybe arguments, challenges, controversies, things like that from the past that are still lingering in the background. Is the King of Wands stronger than that? Certainly. And it does Dance with Life say to me that you're going to be able to feel, liberated from those things. Yes, but I don't like that they're kind of still in the background, if that makes sense. So let me look at the other cards and see if I can get a hit as to why I feel uneasy about that Seven of Wands there. It does indicate that there was a period of time where we felt attacked or on the defense, right? And not honored. We're no longer in that come February, because the King of Wands would indicate being honored, or maybe not even caring if we're honored anymore. We're just we're doing our damn thing is kind of how I feel with that King of Wands. But I'm trying to figure out why it just doesn't sit right with me. I'll figure it out before the reading's over. Let's see. All right, the next card is the Spirit or Soul space. It tells me what your spirit or soul is working on during the month of February, what it wants you to focus on. Beautiful. So this is the Nine of Cups, totally water energy, Scorpio's wheelhouse. Cups is the water element. Nines are about personal completions. Nine of Cups is about personal abundance. Look at this big fat cat surrounded by her cups, laying on her, ugly tablecloth table, proud of it. She don't care. But anyways, what I like about this is, to me, this is about this dance with life. Right? This is about experiencing the joy in everything that we do in the month of February. Our spirit wants us to do this. Our spirit wants us to revel in it. That would be this Nine of Cups, right? Our spirit is asking us to personally connect to the things that are around us. Maybe not this is not how it's felt up until this point, or, we've had to get through some sort of struggles in the past to get to this. So now it's kind of like, I feel like the spirit is saying, don't waste this time, because, with life, things peak and valley, like a roller coaster. So right now we're on a high point. We're feeling good. We want to enjoy it. We want to grab that enjoyment as much as we can. And so spirit is really sort of pushing us towards doing that too, doing the things that feel emotionally fulfilling, connecting to those things, the things that give us the most joy, all of that sort of stuff, and taking the action to do that through that King of Wands, right? So let's see what the outside influences are. The next two cards are what I call the outside influences. These are things that could be affecting us either positively or negatively throughout the month of February. They can be things like people or events, sometimes things more vague like belief systems or energies that are having an effect on us, but they don't necessarily belong to us. So let's see. Did the thing beep? I think I'm still running. Okay. This is the Two of Swords. So the swords is air and air element, mental energy, thoughts, that sort of a thing. Again, we have this moon here happening. Let me see here. There's usually some indecision with the Two of Swords. There's usually like a kind of that blindfolded cat always makes me feel a little bit weird. And what I feel like with this Two of Swords is he's on a tightrope versus the traditional Two of Swords where she has two swords crossing over her chest. That can sometimes feel like drawing a boundary. But here, what I feel like, this feels like the antithesis of what I see going on over here. Do you see how this cat is balanced on that tightrope? Yet these girls here are like, fuck the tightrope. Let's spin our skirts real big. Like, let's dance with life. Let's suck the joy, everything we can out of life right now. This Two of Swords feels like limitation to me. It feels like outside situations, outside people may want you to be on a tightrope, Scorpio. They may want you to not want to be so, okay, I'm not going to do the snoring. Hey, you need to wake up. This isn't like a beach with seals on it. I'm going to throw you back out if you start that. Hello? Okay. What I feel like with this Two of Swords is that they want you on a tightrope. They don't want you to have the freedom, or the sort of the experiences coming from this card could feel limiting. And that might not be something that you want to be involved in. Certainly the King of Wands, that's not his gig at all. The Nine of Cups, that's not that card's gig either. And certainly not this Dance with Life card. That's not its gig either. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm talking about, where we've got this cat that's blindfolded and walking between these two swords on a tightrope, right? So to me, it says like, we might find ourselves, people attempting to limit us this month, right? People attempting to make us, force us to take a choice or a side in a situation, or trying to limit our, I don't know, our income or our opportunities to do whatever it is we want. But no, we're in this place of our spirit is pushing us to enjoy everything that we can out of this month. The King of Wands wants us to go after whatever it is that we do desire. What's interesting to me, and that's part of why I think maybe this Seven of Wands is the foundation, is there something maybe in our subconscious or in the background that might be from past experience was challenging, could be working with this Two of Swords. Does that make sense? So sometimes when we hold a belief that, you know, life is only as good as, not as good as we allow it. Well, that would make sense in this, what I'm trying to describe, but how do I want to say this? Sometimes when we have preconceived notions of how we think experiences are going to go because of the beliefs of our past or what we've experienced in the past, we can kind of ultimately create limiting experiences moving into the future. And so that's why I think I don't like this Seven of Wands as your guys' foundation. It's not permanent, and it doesn't, I think that the whole point of this reading is to point out this Seven of Wands to explain to you guys that don't interact with the world in the month of February from this place of feeling like, okay, who's going to challenge me next? Because if you go into that, you're going to, those challenges already are lurking in the Two of Swords. Do you see what I'm saying? There's already things that want to limit us, right? Like, I don't know, let's just say, you know, pandemic rules, new presidencies, you know, rules around work, whatever's going on for us that feels limiting, that feels tight, that doesn't feel open or fun or enjoyment or joyful, that's coming to us through this Two of Swords. I don't like that Seven of Wands as the foundation, because we could be calling some of these limiting situations to us from having recollections of situations that were challenging in the past. Does that make sense? And so what I see here is with this dance with life, the King of Wands and the Nine of Cups, everything says, Scorpio, February should be brilliant for you guys. Create the February you want to have, not the February that your memories want to give you, right? It almost feels like it could be some sort of weird, I don't want to say a test, but it feels like almost like, are we going to let the, and this is also, remember, this says do something to change your energy, right? So if this is the energy of our past, which is this idea of conflict, being challenged, being poked, prodded, other people's opinions getting under our skin and driving us nuts, we've finally gotten a breath of fresh air. We've finally gotten an opportunity to do what we want, to achieve what we want. We need to chase after that and not allow the limiting experiences that are coming at us to like put us back into that Seven of Wands state. We want to stay in this King of Wands state the whole month of February. I hope that makes sense. Now, the next outside influence. Okay, I love this. This is the King of Swords. So to me, this is like we have two different options, right? We have the Two of Swords, which is so limiting, like walk on the goddamn wire, or we have the King of Swords, which is about truth, honesty, like clear decision-making, analytical thinking, opportunities to rise up to his level. This could be an air sign, a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius that could be coming in to assist us or help us. We'll definitely be on level with them. I do like that it's swords energy on either side of you, because it kind of feels like no matter what, I think that that King of Wands can work with these swords energies, right? Remember, fire, wands, burns up air, swords, so it needs it to burn. So these things can kind of, in some ways, maybe assist us. Even the Two of Swords, even though it might feel limiting, there's opportunities here to maneuver these situations that are coming at us. I do feel like the King of Swords is beneficial. He's going to help us. He's going to meet us at our level. And that's like when we're not sinking down into the memories of the past where things were wonky or where things were frustrating or where, you know, I don't know, like I'm just using this as an example, like when last month really sucked ass. And so we go into that state of mind of thinking that way. We're not really rising up to the buoyancy of the King of Wands and that Nine of Cups, right? Our spirit wants us up in this like pure sort of emotional joy, bliss state so that we can see things. It's almost like we're going to see our outside influences through two different ways. If we're down in this energy, then we're going to see it this way or experience it this way. But if we're up in this energy, we're going to experience it this way, right? With the King of Swords. So what might maybe appear limiting is actually opens up and gives us an opportunity to find the truth, to find clear answers, to make definitive decisions in our life, to move forward in ways that bring us about strength and clarity versus feeling confused or indecisive. Does that make sense? So keep that in mind this month. I think this is a month where the theme here, or what I'm sort of feeling is it's really about like sort of how we choose to interact with our world in February. The previous two water sign readings were a little bit more, they felt a little bit more stuck or a little bit more, this feels like you guys have the power to create whatever it is you want this month and however it is you want to experience it. But we have to be mindful about the that foundation card. That Seven of Wands in the foundation says to me that there has been just, I don't know, like hijinks, mishaps, struggles of the past that want to creep into our mind. They want to like poison our brain. Don't let them. It's kind of the feeling that I get from that card. So be mindful of that this month, because you can have a really beautiful, abundant, sort of free thinking month, but we have to deal with some of the thoughts of the subconscious, right? We have these moons here. What is this in our past that sometimes maybe drives and produces in us how we experience the now? Right? That could be some of the work that's taking place here this month for the Scorpios. That could be rather profound and kind of you guys up to go about creating clarity and opportunity and going after your desires and feeling better and feeling fuller and wholer. Or I don't even know if wholer is a word, but I'm going to use it. And there's opportunities here to dance with life and experience that joy. All right. The next card is what I call the potential outcomes. This card tells me a little bit about sort of where things are going to end out for the majority of the Scorpios, barring that nothing major changes. But I always call it potential because with this card, if it's a negative card, we can use it as a warning to through free will to make choices and changes to change the outcome of this reading. But if it is a good card, we can take heart in the fact that we're naturally heading towards it. And we don't have to do much to change it, right? So let's see what that is. Okay, so we've got the Five of Swords. Not necessarily the best card. I kind of feel like this, to me, Five of Swords would indicate sort of like a hard, like a battle. How do I want to say it? It's like a win that comes at like sort of a bittersweet win is the best way I would describe it, right? It's like we get to this state of, yeah, I won that battle, but it was a hard fight, right? Like it doesn't necessarily deliver the reward that we thought it was going to. I kind of get a feeling, and this is part of this why I don't like this Seven of Wands in the foundation. I kind of get a feeling that like you guys need to be careful of how much, and maybe that is the message in this, do something to change your energy. Maybe there is an opportunity to dance with life this month, but if you don't see that and you keep shifting into negativity or into thoughts of the past, the way that you were treated, things like that, it doesn't allow you to get up into that spiritual space where the Nine of Cups resides, right? The King of Wands is your center, which says to me that you guys should be empowered to create whatever it is that you desire and go after it and take action on it. But if you're struggling with the memories of the past where you've been slighted or wronged or too caught up in that stuff, it's going to screw with your experiences, right? It's going to screw with your ability to stay clear. It may even block that King of Swords card from coming through at all, because we might only be able to experience things through the Two of Swords, which feels limiting, tight, unclear. But for some of you, or the majority of you, you might need to do that so that you can access this subconscious thought that is dictating to you sort of what you experience, what you get, what you create, why the world seems to come at you the way that it does. And so the Five of Swords indicates change. That would be the number 5. The swords indicate the mind. So we're ideally changing our thoughts by the end of the month in February, but we might maybe had to struggle to get there. We might have lost some opportunities to get there, right? Ultimately, it does say to me that you will win, right? But it's sort of like this bittersweet win. So like it really is. And like I said, this card is not set in stone. So we can use this as a warning right now to sort of indicate that, okay, what is my Seven of Wands? What is my deeper, darker belief that stems from my past that tells me everything has to be a struggle? Because it doesn't. You just believe it. And I feel like these cards are trying to tell you otherwise. They're trying to show you a different way of looking at things. You have that within you, certainly up in that spirit space. That Nine of Cups indicates, I mean, that's your element. That's the water element, cups. So, and it's in your spirit space. So it couldn't be any more in alignment. And it's funny that you have the King of Wands in your center, because I've always make this joke about Scorpios. I think you're some of this, coolest, intelligent, sexy, freaky, scary people. And I mean that all complimentary, right? But I always have had this sort of funny notion about Scorpios is they are the one water sign that will go to their deathbed trying to convince you that they're a fire sign, right? Like they just sort of have a lot of attributes to me that come off as fire energy. And so I think that they sometimes try and convince themselves that they're not as emotive or watery, or they certainly don't want the outside world to realize that, right? So they keep some of that hidden. So it makes sense that the King of Wands would be in your center of staying in control. You guys love a good soapbox. You guys love to, and I don't mean that in a bad way. You guys have great information and great ways of delivering that information. But you also, I do feel like the Seven of Wands indicates that you guys feel like life just automatically is going to bring you challenges. That's the foundation that you're sitting on, right? That you're going to be challenged, you're going to be mocked, you're going to be fucked over, whatever that Seven of Wands is for you. That's a belief that you guys need to sort of break free of in the month of February. Most of you will. And even if you arrive at this Five of Swords, it indicates that you will break free of it. There will be that change that takes place. It just might be more of a struggle than you would like. I mean, there's certainly more celebratory cards. We could have saw the Six of Wands here, or we could have saw the Chariot, or something in this position that would have indicated to me that the majority of Scorpios were just going to blow this off, the doors off of this one, and land on the other side in a very big way, like really embrace that King of Swords and go after the clarity of what life can give them. But instead, you may have to go deep down into this subconscious and get rid of whatever it is that produces these experiences for ourselves. It's almost like I feel like it's like a pessimism or something that is, it might feel like it's natural to who you are. And it might feel like it's a byproduct of the experiences that you've had in your life, the struggles that you've had in your life. But I kind of feel like these cards are telling me now it is time to let go of the struggles, because this is really who you are. This is your spirit and your soul, is this Nine of Cups. This like fulfilled, joyful, emotive, psychic, lovely, sort of sensitive soul that you have up here that wants you to like commune with it during this time so that you don't get caught up in more struggle bus energy. I hope that makes sense, you guys. It should be an interesting February for you guys. I do think that there's opportunities for joy, for fun, all of that sort of stuff, and for growth in all of this. So keep that in your mind. Even if you land at the Five of Swords at the end of the month, it's not a loss. It's actually a gain. It's just it's a little bit maybe harder of a month or a back and forth month than you would have expected. Does that make sense? Like you might have had to struggle with this Two of Swords indecision a little bit more, but you will get clear of it. That's my feeling. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that wasn't too vague, but I really think that there's something going on here where, and also, we want to look at this stuff, whatever's lurking down in that foundation card, right? Whatever the beliefs are down there that are driving us sometimes in the now, where we make our decisions out of maybe fear or lack, or, assuming we're going to be challenged automatically. So therefore we come at it from a different way, right? If we're doing that, we're creating more of those challenges, or we're automatically instinctually acting on the idea that that's how it's going to be delivered to us. So that's how it's sort of given to us, right? And so we don't have to do that anymore is kind of the feeling that I'm getting. We get to choose something different. We get to like open up our awareness. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. And we'll see how this month transpires. And maybe, you know, March will bring more specific information. I just feel like this is about us transforming. You know, I get a feeling with that Seven of Wands that 2020 was a much harder year for the Scorpios than they want to admit. All right, you guys, I love you all, and I look forward to see you guys next month. Please tune in, like the business page, follow me if you're new to me. Please go over if you're watching on YouTube and subscribe to the, if you're watching on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel and vice versa. If you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to follow the business page over on Facebook. I am available for private readings. You can always message me at the Facebook business page. And I look forward to seeing you guys next month. All right, take care. Bye-bye.